Good morning, students. As you see from the heading itself, today we discuss the chapter Water. And this lecture is presented by me, Panit Ghatak, your chemistry teacher. So, let's begin. As we all know, the water is a universal solvent. So, why water is called a universal solvent in the first place? Okay. So, in the case of water, what happens? The water has a certain structure, and due to this structure and due to the structural properties, it has certain properties as well. Okay, so due to this structure and due to the structural properties, so structural nature, water can dissolve more substances than any liquid. So that is why it is being called as universal solvent. Okay, so what is the structure? So as you can see from the side itself, that is here the water has one oxygen and two hydrogen itself, so that is called H2O. Okay, as you see from the figure itself, that oxygen and hydrogen is being bonded together in a single bond like structure, but this structure is not linear. This structure is certainly angular, and the angle between the HOH, this angle between the hydrogen, oxygen and hydrogen, this is 104.5 degrees. Okay, so as you all can see, the angle between the hydrogen, oxygen and hydrogen is 104.5 degrees. That is why they are not they are not linear, they are angular. Okay, as oxygen is very much angular, so it has certain properties in it. Okay, and other than that, most importantly, in the case of water, what happens, that is H2O, we have oxygen and hydrogen. And in the case of oxygen having a del negative charge. That means, as we know, oxygen is highly electronegative. Okay, so as the oxygen having the higher electronegative value than hydrogen, electronegative means oxygen will try to attract more electrons. So that is why oxygen's electron density will be higher, because oxygen having the higher electronegative value. That means oxygen will try to attract more electron towards itself. So more electron towards itself means more electron density, and as we know, electrons are negatively charged. So so that is why the oxygen will get a negative charge, whereas in the case of hydrogen will get a positive charge. Okay, and hydrogen will get a positive charge instead. Okay, but here remember, here the no discrete charge, positive or no discrete negative charge will occur. Here we give a del. Del means infinitesimally small charge. That in del means infinitesimally small charge, means very less charge. If we give a sign of del plus, means infinitesimally small positive charge, that means very small positive charge, and if you give del minus, that means very small negative charge. Okay, so here in the case of water, what happens? In the case of water, we have two things, that is hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen is del positive because it has less electronegativity, so it will donate electrons. So here the electron density will be less. As the electron density will be less, it will gain a positive charge, but not fully positive. It will get to some extent positive charge. This some extent positive charge can only be described by del. This del means very less amount of positive charge. Whereas in the case of oxygen, as we know, oxygen having a electronegative parameter, so that is why it will attract more electron towards itself. So here the electron density will be higher. As we know, the electrons are negatively charged, so it will be also negatively charged. But here the negative charge is also very less, so we will give them a del. So here in the case of water, we having the del positive and del negative. So that means a positive pole and a negative pole, a positive pole and a negative pole. So that is why we have been calling it as a polar molecule. As here positive and negative, both the poles are present, so that is why we are calling H2O as a polar molecule. So it is a polar molecule, so it is very much easier for water to dissolve n number of substances. But remember, water can only dissolve only polar molecules. Okay, but non-polar molecules such as uh, oil, benzene, CCl4. Okay, so it cannot be dissolved in water. So that is why you can do a simple experiment by your household as well. Just look for the materials. You need a simple oil, vegetable oil, or any oil. Okay, it is better to use the vegetable oil. Okay, and water. Just know that if you find that whenever you do a mixture of water and vegetable oil, it doesn't mix, it is not mixed at all, because water is polar, but vegetable oils more oils, generally all the oils are non-polar. So that is why water is, or water cannot dissolve these oils. Okay, so because of the non-polarness of oils. Remember, as the water is polar, because of the two poles, the positive pole and negative pole is in it, so that is why it is being called as polar, and water can only dissolve the polar molecules. Okay, so try to do this little experiment in your household. Okay, so you can do that and tell me the result. Okay, what you have observed from this little experiment. Okay. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. So what is solution? We have been talking about the universal solvent. So solvent and solution. So what is that? Okay, so solution is basically, a solution is a mixture formed when one or more solutes dissolve in a solvent. So the medium in which any particle dissolve is called the solvent. The particle which itself dissolve is called the solute. Okay, so the particle which itself get dissolved is called solute, and the medium in which the particles get dissolved is called solvent. And solute plus solvent is called solution. Okay, solute plus solvent is called solution. Okay, so here in this slide we can see the water is a solvent, and in the water we are giving some amount of sugar. So sugar is a solute. So when we add sugar in water, we get a solution, that is a sugar solution. Okay, so when we add solute to a solvent, we get a solution, that is called a sugar solution. Okay. And in the next slide we're gonna see about the mixture and solutions. What is the difference between the mixture and solution? All of this, the mixture and solution, in both the cases we are adding some solvent and some solute. Okay, but one time it is forming a mixture, but then the other times it is from solution. So when and what is the difference between the mixture and solution? Both of them are basically mixtures. We are going to add a solute and solvent to each other, but in sometimes it forming a mixture and sometimes it is called as solution. So what is the difference between them? If we see the particles of solute and solvent separately, we can see the particles of solute and solvent separately, then it is called a mixture. Okay, like here in the case of marbles and water, when we add marbles to the water, what happens? We can see the particles of marbles and water separately. Here in the case of this is marbles and this is the water. So here we can see them differently. Okay, separately we can see them. Okay, we can see the separately marble, and we can see the water separately as well. Okay, so that is why it's being called as a mixture. But when we cannot separate between the solute, the particles of solute and particles of solvent, then it is being called as solution. Okay, so here in the case of salt and water, when we add salt to water, then we cannot, when it is mixed, then we cannot separate where the particles of salt is and where the particles of water is. So we cannot differentiate between the salt and water, because the salt particles are already dissolved in the water particles. Okay, so when we cannot separate among the solute and solvent, it is being called as solution. When you can separate the particles of solute and solvent, then it is being called as mixture. Okay, Okay. So next thing is the types of solubility. Okay, so we have mainly three types of solubility. That is unsaturated solution, saturated solution, and supersaturated solution. So unsaturated solution means more solute can also be dissolved. Saturated solution means no more solute can get dissolved. It is the highest level of solubility. And then supersaturated means we have already exceeded the saturated solution of any solute. Okay, right now what gonna happen, this is an unstable state, supersaturated solution, it becomes very much unstable and it can crystallize at any time. When we cool down the system, it may crystallize as well. Okay, so you may have heard that the water of crystallization. Okay, so water of crystallization that gets from this concept as well. Okay, when we do a supersaturated solution, then it in a heated temperature, because when you heat the solution, that increase the solubility, and when increase the solubility it makes a supersaturated solution. But when it comes down to its normal temperature, that is cools down, then it doesn't hold that much water in it, so it becomes crystals. That means, and the water that was added to the solution itself, it will become the water of crystallization. Okay, so this is the concept of water of crystallization and how it was made. Okay, so solubility are of three types, namely unsaturated solution, saturated solution, and supersaturated solution. Okay, so the last topic of the today is the solubility versus temperature. So what is the relationship between the solubility and temperature? In certain cases we have observed that there is certain relationship between solubility with temperature. Okay, so solubility of potassium nitrate, that is KNO3, in water increases with increase in temperature. When you increase the temperature, the solubility of KNO3 in water it increases. But in the case of calcium sulfate, that is CuSO4, when we increase the temperature, the solubility of CuSO4 in water decreases. The solubility of CuSO4 or CaSO4, that is calcium sulfate, in water decreases. Okay, so remember the solubility of KNO3 in water increases with increasing temperature, but solubility of calcium sulfate, that is CaSO4, in water decreases with increasing temperature. Okay, so all of them have some valid reasons behind that, but that is not syllabus, so don't bother about that. Okay, so today's topic was mainly the water, why it is calling why we all call it a universal solvent, as well as what is the solution and what is solute and what is solvent, and types of solution as well. That means the saturated, supersaturated, and unsaturated solution, as well as we have talked about the mixture and the solution, what is the difference between the mixture and solution, and as well as we have also discussed about the solubility versus temperature. There is a relationship between the solubility and temperature, and we have talked about the example as well, that is potassium nitrate and calcium sulfate. Okay, so I hope you have understood this part very well. If you have any kind of doubt, please ask me in the comment section below. So thank you very much. Bye.